What's happening, everybody? Welcome in Bets and Ball Games Week 13 edition. We are recording on Wednesday around 1:20 p.m. Eastern, and we are presented by FanDuel. And let me tell you about our friends at GameTime SIDEKICKS, officially licensed stainless steel drinkware, all SEC schools, plus over 350 more universities, everything from stainless steel, sippy cups, tumblers, and 40-ounce plus bottles and shaker cups, SE16 for the 20% discount to viewers. What's happening, Jay?
Not much, my man. I hope you're well.
I am well. A little exhausted. Went to Oxford. Didn't come back till Monday. Had to watch. I can't come back Sunday and miss NFL all day Sunday. And then went to Tallahassee yesterday to check out this UT Martin squad. Had them plus 21, plus 12.5 in the first half. Team total over 71.5. All winners.
You're high on the UT Martin Euros, aren't you?
I sure am. 12 players from 10 different countries. They got some guys that can shoot the rock. All right. Good, bad, and ugly. What you got?
My good is football teams with mental toughness. That could be Oklahoma going to Tuscaloosa and winning. That could be very well, and in this instance, Kirby Smart routinely telling his teams to make other teams quit. And Georgia consistently does that. And occasionally, if he needs a jump start, going for it twice on fourth down on a critical drive to extend the lead and then getting the onside kick on the ensuing kickoff, he ripped the soul out of Texas in the second half, Saturday night in Athens. And look, I've heard multiple people make the comp that this Georgia team gives off the vibe of last year's Ohio State team, that post-Halloween is starting to age and mature and play its best football. And I'm not here to disagree with that.
They're turning it on big time right now. The last 2 weeks, they have turned it on. So I was at the Florida Ole Miss game, so obviously I didn't see a play, but I was watching the highlights late night. And, I mean, that's the last time you're ever expecting an onside kick is when you take a 21-10 lead in the fourth quarter, because the last thing you want to do is give them good field position there. But I guess that's the best time to do an onside kick.
Well, and it screams to his level of trust of a defense, and,
yes.
And it also screams to his finger on a pulse of in-game coaching. And look, you and I hope Mike Bobo is never employed by Auburn or Florida, our alma maters. But that guy's done as good a job this year as I can recall. And they have aligned him with a lot of round pieces for round holes in what he wants to do. There are multiple tight ends on that roster. There are multiple dudes who can exploit you on the bubble. And then if you start defending the bubble, Noah Thomas and some of those 6'6", 6'7" wide receivers are going to go vertical on you. And all Gunnar Stockton has to do is give them a 50-50 ball, and they're going to win that more times than not.
And they are peaking at the right time, no doubt about it. And I would imagine that will be reflected in our odds to win the SEC championship game that we'll be taking a look at in a minute. So my good is going to be the Vault and the Grove on Saturday. The Grove was as advertised. It was my first. I had been to Oxford before, but never to the Grove. It was pretty sweet. The Vault was a lot more loud and electric than I thought it would be. And I heard Neil McCready say on a post-game show that it might have been the best atmosphere ever in program history. And that's kind of what I was thinking, because that place was rocking and rolling the other night, no doubt about it. The Ole Miss fans next to me were all really cool. I congratulated all of them, told them best of luck once the dagger was inserted. And yeah, and it was cool. But now, everybody's fan base has got a couple of you-know-whats, and one of the you-know-what started hollering at me and some other Gators leaving, or once we were already outside the stadium. I told him to go get his shine box because I had some rings for him to tend to. So I can be a you-know-what back.
Well, I hope he looked at you and went, hey, maybe you've been away a long time. Maybe you hadn't heard. I ain't shining shoes no more, Billy. And then Billy Bats goes, hey, I'm just busting your balls a little bit. If I was really going to give you grief, I'd say go get your bleeping shine box.
That's right. Keep him here. Keep him here. Keep him here. All right, you're back.
You want to go Goodfella quote for quote, brother. I'm ready to roll.
Spider, 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 spider.
Just one time, the kids in the neighborhood carried my mom's groceries all the way home. You want to know why? It was out of respect.
That's right. Rest in peace, Ray Liotta. You're bad.
My bad is, other than my bets, because my bets were bad.
Same.
Tennessee going over anything, they couldn't go over a speed bump. Alabama faltered. About the only one I hit big was Georgia. I even forget what we talked about with my bad.
Oh yeah, you were gonna do.
Oh, my bad. Look, Mississippi State, you can't give up 300 bills to any running back not named Derek McFadden, Bo Jackson, or Herschel Walker. Look, Ahmad Hardy's having a great year. Don't. No. At some point, put 10 guys in the box and make a third-string quarterback at least hit an open wide receiver, because 300 on 25 carries is nuts.
Yeah, that was one of my few good reads last week. Was Mizzou, and Mississippi State is fading down the stretch. Back to our picks that were bad. I mean, if it weren't for the live pick situations and the fact that we overlooked Texas A&M's second half in either of our goods, I'll take care of that now, because that was the easiest live bet ever. And I hope our listeners, if they follow me on Twitter, got on that, because I was saying before halftime, I texted a couple of friends. I was like, it's got to be at least 17, because they were down 27. And I was like, and I'm taking it at 17 or less. Like, that would be plus 10 adjusted. When I saw minus 11.5, minus 105 juice, that's plus 15.5. I got on it pretty strong. Obviously not strong enough. Should have been my biggest play of the whole year, because after the second touchdown, I was ahead of the number, which was mid-third quarter, and it looked clear they would come back and went outright. And I was livid. My accounts didn't have a money line at halftime, like for them to come back and win outright. I was told it was plus 950. I definitely would have made a little baby wager on it for sure. All right. My bad is Beamer. Okay. It's great that you're ahead 27-3 and you got an opportunity down in the red zone. What were you doing with clock management there? I mean, did you see it?
Look, man, his demeanor needs to be as much about the bad.
I was going there.
He looked like a deer in headlights on the sidelines. Chew somebody's ass. I mean, you look like the game was over. You went into prevent and run the ball on 2nd and 11 and 3rd and 7 to run the clock early in the third quarter. I mean, you were just trying to
play not to lose.
Yes.
But before all of that, he makes, I mean, you got all three of your timeouts and you got 1st and goal, and you don't even get to 4th down with he had like a minute left, I think. Now I'm going off. I was on the way to the Grove. I was getting texted about it, and I watched all the highlights and stuff, but he didn't even get to 4th and goal, like to kick the field goal. So you make an abysmal clock management mistake there at the end of the first half. You should be mad at yourself. And instead, he does his interview, and then for 30 yards walking to the tunnel, he's doing this clown stuff to the crowd, going crazy, and it's like, dude, you just made a knucklehead move that might end up costing your team this game. Everybody knew A&M was going to make some sort of run. So that was just atrocious on Beamer's part. And I imagine there's some unhappy folks in Columbia.
I would think so too. You cannot be. This was preseason the highest ranked South Carolina team not coached by Stephen Orr Spurrier in program history.
And neither one of us thought they were going to be any good. Back in August.
Yeah.
We bet under on their win total.
We bet under huge because
I didn't like their O-line, and I didn't like their receivers besides Nick Harbor. Now, the Ventravius Jacobs kid is legit. He's really good.
The running game has been problematic, and dear Lord, man, Lenore Sellers should sue for lack of support. I mean, he's been sacked like 3 billion times.
I've heard that I've heard some Miami Hurricane rumors with him. Now, I know Beamer told us that was all horse garbage. Horse garbage, yeah.
That I doubt if Lenoris was loud in the offseason about turning down a multi-million-dollar portal offer. He gets another one of those, bye.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. And
I don't blame him either.
No, and good on him for being loyal last year, but bad on Beamer for not putting an offensive line in front of him for a guy that, you know, I think every mock draft, Nick, if you will, had him first-round grade going into the year, and I don't think they do now.
No, now he's got to come back.
Yeah, and so go make your money.
All right, my ugly, while it could be Marcel Reed in the first half, because let's be real honest. He had I think he had 3 turnovers in the first half, and it could have been twice that.
Yeah.
My ugly is, what the hell are you doing, Texas State Trooper? Pushing a player in the tunnel?
I still haven't even seen this. I heard it on my drive home. I got to pull that up after the show.
What a jackass, man. I know you're butthurt because you're thinking, oh, my God, I can't believe we're playing this badly. Keep your damn hands off the player, man.
What was it, Nick Harbor?
Yeah.
Well, that's the last dang man you want to be putting your hands on. That dude is a freak.
Well,
body-wise.
Yes. And it was on the 80-yard. He caught a 9-yard hitch and looked like the Nick Harbor that is going to go to Indianapolis and blow everybody's doors off in the underwear Olympics.
But I wouldn't be drafting him in the first round because it doesn't translate to the field.
But somebody will. Somebody will. Because he's going to be.
But they'll be making a mistake because we've been waiting on that kid to blossom forever, and he'll show it to you here and there, but never any consistency with it.
But when they go in there without pads, he's gonna measure 6'4", 220-ish, and clock like a 4.26.
And I heard somebody saying his 100-meter time is one of the all-time best as well. Yeah.
But that's my ugly, man. Come on.
Yeah, I got to watch that. I got to watch that clip after the show. I'm looking forward to it. I can't believe I hadn't done it already. Okay, my ugly. And look, I'm not going to have any vitriol, or I'm not irate about it because my boys on Arkansas keep hooking me up on the player props. My guys, Mike Washington and Taylor Green, they hook me up every week. So I'm not mad at them or nothing. Now, my goodness, we were both on the over last week, and here's how you lose an over. When you have a 9-play, 71-yard drive that ends on 2nd and goal with an interception in the end zone, and then you have a 7-play, 87-yard drive that ends on 4th and goal, you getting stopped at the inch line. But not only that, they also fumbled on the 24. They also missed a field goal, and you lose by 1. I mean, Arkansas, this team has lost 8 in a row, and they are a player 2 away from winning at least 5 of those games. Wow, it's just crazy that team is 2-8 because it is one of the not necessarily from an execution standpoint and finishing drives, but that team moves the ball up and down the field every week on a lot of elite defenses, and that's just ugly, man. You just need 1 point, And that's 3 or 2 deep, goal line situations where you get nothing. And then you also fumble on the 24, LSU's 24. Wow, that's ugly, Arkansas. Okie dokie. Let's look at some FanDuel numbers.
Hey, before you rattle those off,
should we talk coaching search stuff? Or what?
Huh?
Should we talk coaching search stuff? Because our game.
No. We can rattle numbers off coming out of good, bad, ugly. But I got an ugly question for you coming off of your ugly.
Yeah.
Who's going to hire Bobby Petrino?
As an offensive coordinator? I still think he's fair game to be somebody's OC at a quality power program. Were you not like it? Remember, I wasn't watching the game. So I didn't really see all the play selection down there in the red zone. So educate me if I, and again.
I'm just talking about the indifference, the whispers that did Petrino hold back, and in an effort, did he sandbag Pittman? I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him.
Well, hold on. We've known he's a scumbag for decades.
I know, and we know he calls good ball plays, but while the offense clearly has talent. They've underachieved.
I mean, it wasn't him that is like Mike Washington at Memphis when you're just trying to set up a field goal and he's like fighting for an extra yard that doesn't even matter and he fumbles and so I don't think some of it's on Petrino though. Now, if he was sandbagging Pittman and all that,
that's turnover problems. You've got an unbelievable running back and a very talented quarterback. And, I don't know. Because he's also now mid-60s to go to a reboot on a guy who has clearly said he wants to be a head coach again.
Well, look, everything you're saying is very fair. And look, excuse me, I wouldn't ever want him anywhere near a team of mine, ever. He's just too toxic in every single way. He's just a terrible human being. And we all know that. We all know what he did to my Falcons, but he was a terrible human being. I was appalled when he got picked by the Falcons. Oh, and that's another conversation for another day. Fire everybody, including the owner, with the Falcons. Clean house. Oh, my gracious goodness. Wow.
I can make a hard argument while we're talking ugly right here that the Falcons are the biggest mess in the NFL. Over the Giants, over the Jets, over the Browns, because not only is this a disaster, and Michael Penix was announced within the last hour is having season-ending surgery, which 100% will likely play into next year.
Yeah.
Now wasted his rookie window, even if he's going to be the guy. Hey, you were talking about being a GM that wouldn't draft Nick Harbor in the first round, and I completely agree with you. I am 100% the GM that's going to give Kyle Pitts a contract in free agency and try to exploit that dude's talents in a culture of success.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing I love more than an awesome Gator being with the Falcons. I want Kyle to be gone. This franchise has all of Twitter every Sunday talking about how you're the biggest bust this and the biggest bust that. Get the heck out of here. They don't target him enough. They have him running 5-7 yard routes. It's ridiculous. Now, he did have a bad drop. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Well, and I'll go you a step further. I didn't even get to the ugliest part of this. The Falcons just sent a number 8 overall pick this past spring. If the draft was tomorrow, the Falcons would pick 8th. But I'm sorry, the Rams own that pick. Atlanta looking the next year
for Pierce
without a first rounder.
Well, that's because the guy knew he was getting fired if he didn't get any pass rushers, and he is going to get fired, so he sabotaged our future, and he's a Saint. He grew up in New Orleans. He worked for the Saints for 17 years. Why the hell is Arthur Blank hiring somebody who's a lifelong Saint to run the Falcons into the ground?
All right, true or false? We're about to change the order here. True or false, you want Steve Sarkisian coaching the Atlanta Falcons next year?
False.
I'd say false too. I was a Falcons season ticket holder, at least our family was, starting when I was 8 years old, 1978, through like 83, and then Dad wouldn't pony back up after they went on strike. So
understandable, Mr. Greeson.
So I've been a Falcons fan for as long as I can remember. And brother, being a Falcons fan and an Auburn graduate means your fall is filled with angst. I mean, my wife is a Saint, lowercase Saint, not capital Saint, New Orleans fan. Right. But that leads us to the coaching carousel, because there are a lot of unhappy people in Austin. I'm not saying they're going to fire him, even though we know their bucks are endless. But I'm certain you and I have both read the same stories that mention mutual buyouts and parting of ways. He's owed $70 million if they fire him. He's owed 10 if he leaves to another job.
Yeah, I don't want him on the Falcons because his offense the year after Shanahan went in the Niners and, we were in the Super Bowl, that offense was the year before the Super Bowl. That was one of the best offenses in NFL history, and we still were with him between the 20s. We became the worst offense in the NFL in the red zone, and our field goal kicker set like every franchise record because we kicked like 5 field goals a week. I do not want him as the head coach of the Falcons, but that sounds like a vintage Arthur Blank hire, however, if he even gets rid of Raheem. All right. Some FanDuel numbers. Okay, the updated odds to win the SEC championship game are A&M plus 150, Bama plus 200, Georgia plus 210, and Ole Miss 14-1. I would say let's have thoughts, but I'm not really sure about how the tiebreakers, and I would need to. Are you familiar with that, or should we not even have that conversation? Because like Georgia's lost to Alabama. If A&M wins out, I think A&M could easily lose to Texas now.
All right. Would you like me to rattle them off A through F?
Yeah, because if Georgia's got a good chance to be in the SEC championship game, I like plus 210 here.
Well, I've liked them for multiple weeks now, and I got them at plus 550.
Whoa, nice.
Tiebreaker A, head-to-head competition.
Bama wins over Georgia. Georgia wins over Ole Miss.
Which Bama's only got one SEC loss, right?
Right, as does Georgia, as does Ole Miss. So if A&M loses to Texas, right, that's all that makes the tiebreakers. Oh, and Alabama wins out, and Georgia's done playing SEC, right?
Yes. Georgia's got 2 non-conference,
but Ole Miss could lose the Egg Bowl, and A&M could lose at Texas.
Well, but I'm talking about the direct competition between Alabama and Georgia.
By the way, have you seen the new Iron Bowl line?
5.5?
Yes.
I have not seen it, but that just is what I would have set it at. All right, head-to-head, because Ole Miss lost to Georgia but did not play Alabama, so the round robin doesn't work.
Right.
Record versus all common conference opponents among the tied teams is the second one. Record
among conference opponents
versus all common conference opponents among the tied teams.
Okay, I'm not really sure what that is. Are those
well, no, you would have to have that ahead of time, and you're just now hearing these for the first time.
Right.
Record against highest, quote, best placed common conference opponent in the conference standings and proceeding through the conference standings among tied teams. Cumulative conference winning percentage of all conference opponents among the tied teams. Capped relative total scoring margin.
Let's move on. Can we move on?
Sports Source analytics versus all conference opponents among the tied teams. And then F is random draw of the tied teams.
Oh, coin flip. Gotcha. All right.
I would random draw was B, because all the rest of these make my head hurt.
Right? It all makes my head hurt. All right. Fernando Mendoza for the Heisman, even money favorite. Julian Sand, plus 190. Marcel Reed, plus 600 or 6-1. Diego, 15-1. Gunnar Stockton, 25-1. Oh, my guy Haynes King back in the mix, 33-1. And Ty Simpson, 150 to 1. Trinidad Chambliss, 400-1. All right, odds to win the Natty. Ohio State plus 185 chalk. Indiana plus 500. I'm not against that. A&M plus 750. Notre Dame plus 950. Georgia 10-1. Oregon 13. Texas Tech 14. Bama 15. Ole Miss 17. OU 30. And Utah and Miami 60. USC 80. Vandy 100. And Texas 400. Oh, wait. So I heard on Sunday morning that ESPN had Heather Dinich and Feinbaum discussing if Texas can go to the playoff with a 9-3 record, which would obviously include them beating A&M. No, the answer, and we talked about this all summer, we said there were 2 SEC teams that would make the playoff at 9-3, depending on how things shook out everywhere else, but possibly could do it. And it was only Oklahoma and Florida. And that ship sailed on the Gators many months ago.
Yeah. When you have 4 losses before Halloween, that ship has sailed.
That ship sailed. But Oklahoma is the team that can get in at 9-3, not Texas.
It depends on the 3, though. And it depends on the rest of – I don't know Oklahoma 9-3 because, hey, they're in the playoff now, but the Big 12 is threatening to have multiple schools in. Notre Dame is in control of its own destiny. And if Oklahoma loses with 2 games left, who do they have left? Missouri and
LSU at home. They're not losing, and they only have 2 losses, right? Yeah.
Right. They only have 2, but if they lose one of those games, it's going to be viewed as a bad loss.
But they will still – I know – well, that's a good point by you. But they will still have wins at Bama, at Tennessee.
Tennessee doesn't carry the luster.
Especially after the Gators beat them this week. And the Michigan win is not aging well, nor is the Auburn. Okay. Maybe I'm off. Okay. I'm sorry. I was just thinking back to our conversation.
No. And I agreed because the schedule was so daunting on paper.
But now I do agree with you.
Yes, Texas or Oklahoma and possibly Florida were the only ones because of the arduous nature of the schedule. But I remember saying it then. You're putting yourself at the mercy of the committee because of you don't know what the landscape around you is. Because
but what are Texas's quality wins? I mean, obviously
Texas didn't get in for squat. I'm not arguing for Texas in this conversation.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
I'm just talking about no team with 3 losses should feel safe.
Right.
Because look, you're fighting for a finite number of bids. Notre Dame's not losing its last 2. There's like a 35-point pick over Syracuse this week.
Yeah.
And I don't know who they close the year with, but they're not losing that one either.
They are they're not losing at Stanford. Yeah.
So that's one. The ACC, Miami's on the cusp of being in the at-large teams, and they may not be in the playoff.
Well, Miami's going to lose at Pitt. Miami doesn't play good on the road in the wintertime, as we know.
Again, you're missing the narrative. The narrative is not the picks part of this, bets and ball games. This is the ball games part of it. This is not projecting who's going to win or what's going to happen. This is
if they went out.
You lose a third game, Oklahoma, you screw yourself.
Right. Yeah, Miami's definitely losing at Pitt, in my opinion. But I know that's not part of the combo. Okay, let's move to the games. And really, we're not going to spend much time on any of these except for the big 4, because we got some coaching search stuff to talk about, but let's knock some games out. So we start with Samford at Texas A&M, and our friends at FanDuel have A&M as a 54.5 point favorite, and this is a pass for me.
Well, if there, I already broke the don't go against Diego Pavia rule. There's no way I'm violating the don't lay 40 when the number's at 54.5. I mean, when you get up 40, you still need 2 more touchdowns and something else crazy to happen to cover. Now, look, Samford's garbage. They're like 1-10.
And look, they don't even have first half and first quarter lines up. So with apologies to the Aggie faithful, we move on. Okay, next we have Missouri at Oklahoma, noon Eastern on ABC. And our friends at FanDuel have this one. Oklahoma -7.5 at a -106 price. Mizzou +240 on the money line. Ooh, a pretty low total of 42.5, especially low for a Missouri game. And we have in the first quarter, OU is -1.5 at a -112 price. In the first half, OU is -3.5, -120. Rushing props, Ahmad Hardy, 121.5, -114 either way. Mateer is 38.5. Touchdown props, Ahmad Hardy, -125. Okay, there's a play for me. Just one touchdown, he's only -125. Sign me up. Satania's +155, Mateer -110, Xavier Robinson +105. Where's Roberts +210, the Mizzou running back? That one's kind of interesting, but I'll refrain. Let me see what Satania's receiving number is. 74.5, Deion Burks 47.5, Kevin Coleman 26.5. And there you go. Thoughts?
The player prop I like best in that is Ahmad Hardy under 121.
Okay.
I just think Brent Venables and that Oklahoma front seven are going to do the exact opposite of what Mississippi State did and said, all right, somebody else with this season to play for, somebody else is going to have to beat us. And with Matt Zollers back there.
No, I think Perbula's got a good chance of playing.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not for sure, but where did I see that yesterday?
We're recording this on Wednesday, so make certain you keep an eye on – look, well, and I'd feel a lot better about 121.5 talking about the injury report. If our Mason Thomas is back, then Oklahoma's front is as good as anybody's in the country.
Yeah. No argument here. We know the availability.
This game, as far as the game goes, the biggest question for me is how does Oklahoma handle all the backslapping? Because everybody on campus, all the alumni, everybody's chattering about you're now in the playoff. You just went to Tuscaloosa and won. Can you handle the moment? And I personally think they can, and they probably will, because I've said this on a couple of shows already this week, including the reaction show on Saturday. You were trying to set a PR on number of butt heavies that you went through. I don't know if Oklahoma's the best team in the country, but they may be the toughest.
OU under Venables 13-8 against the spread as a home favorite, as a road underdog under Drinkwitz. Mizzou is 8-8 coming into this year. They were favored at Auburn. So they're 8-9 as a road underdog. This is only their third road game of the year. By the way, Oklahoma's -6. Oh no, wait, hold on. FanDuel plus. Yeah, Oklahoma's -6.5 in the games of the year, way back in the summer. So it's only going up 1 point. Now, Prabula, you didn't have a play on the side, did you? If
No,
Pabula plays,
I'd be tempted to play the under, even as low as it is. This feels like one of those numbers that Vegas is putting out there, begging you to play the over. And when Vegas begs you to do something, zigging rather than zagging is normally the financially smart play.
Yeah, this is a pass for me, especially not being certain of Pabula. But I will do the Hardy anytime touchdown prop minus 125. Okay, next we have Charlotte at Georgia, 12:45 p.m. Eastern on the SEC Network. Charlotte is 1-9. Our friends at FanDuel have Georgia minus 43.5. Total of 53.5. In the first quarter, Georgia's minus 10.5. And in the first half, Georgia's minus 24.5 with some extra juice, minus 128. I will say, I almost want to blindly take Charlotte because I know I shared the stat earlier in the year. I think it's when Kirby's favored by 35 or maybe
38.5 or more.
Oh, 38.5 or more. And I forget the number, and my bad for not looking it up. It's awful. It's like
I've seen it at either 1-14 or 0-15, depending on like one game. It may have been like Vandy.
One game is either a push or a win. So it's either some had it at like 37 or some had it at like 38 even, and some had it at 38.5, and they won by 38. Yes, yeah, that's what it is. But it's only like one cover, and it might have been a little half or not cover or by a half or what have you. So it's Charlotte or pass, but it's pass for me.
Pass. Thank you, but no.
Yes, thank you, but no. All right. Next, we go to Eastern Illinois at Bama, 2 p.m. SEC Network Plus, which I think is just ESPN Plus. And let's see if our friends at FanDuel even have a line on this bad boy yet. I don't think they do. Well, they have one for Samford and A&M, so why would they not have one for Bama? But they don't. I mean, Bama is in the top 25. Yes, of course. No line. So we move on. And we go next to Mercer and Auburn. 2 p.m. Eastern, same thing, SEC Network Plus, and there is no line from FanDuel. Let me see if any other book, I won't name another book, but just, yeah, we do. Oh, wait, this says FanDuel has Auburn minus 27.5, but I'm not seeing it here. Oh, because I'm on the top 25 games. My apologies, folks. Okay.
Hey, while you're looking that up, because you digging on the internet is such a great consumer product for our fans here.
I'm there, but you go ahead.
It's important to note here that DJ Durkin said Ashton Daniels will not play.
Yes, red shirt, retaining the red shirt. So we got Jackson Arnold. What about the 5-star freshman?
I think you will see the 5-star freshman.
Will we see a lot of him?
I would. The Jackson Arnold experience has
run its course.
Yeah. I think I'd rather have a plate full of coleslaw washed down with tequila served on the heel of a clown's foot before I have to endear Jackson Arnold again.
That was some outstanding imagery there. Auburn minus 27.5. Mercer's 20-1 money line odds. The total is 51.5, and those are all the numbers that FanDuel is currently offering for that one. So do we have anything else on that one?
Yeah. Thank God that's not on TV, because we both know that I'm gonna have to panic to find SEC Plus on my phone when the ticker comes across that it's 24-21 Mercer going into the fourth.
Does this smell like some Georgia Southern at the Swamp vibes?
What was it? It was like 10 years ago. It was Jacksonville State in Auburn in like September, and they needed like a 4th down stop and like a miraculous drive to win by like 3.
I think Jacksonville State won at Ole Miss during the Houston Nutt era, if I'm not mistaken, when they had the Oregon transfers, a QB whose name eludes me at the moment. All right, next we have Kentucky at Vandy, and I have all sorts of thoughts on this bad boy. All right, so we have Vandy. 9.5 is what I believe it was.
That's what I saw.
Yeah, we got Vandy favored by 9.5, minus 360 money line. Kentucky plus 280 on the comeback. The total is 52.5. And in the first quarter, we have Vandy minus 2.5, minus 122 price. In the first half, we have Vandy minus 6.5 at a minus 108 price. I have some player props I like because this is Diego's senior night in the afternoon.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. It gets dark early.
No, I'm talking about allegedly because Diego Pavia, if anybody's going to figure out a way to get an extra year of eligibility, I mean, Diego may come up with like some sort of doctor's note that he had COVID when he was 14, and he was like patient 0 on the COVID train, and he needs another extra year. Otherwise, they're going to sue.
Yes. So let's keep in mind here, Diego, at the 15-1 odds, unless he has like some brilliant Heisman moment at Neyland, he's probably not going to win the Heisman, but it means a lot to Vandy to get him invited to New York. So they want him in the top 5. And I'm not saying they're going to look, it's not a given this is going to be a blowout. So he's probably going to need to play the whole game, but they would love to get him some numbers here. And his rushing yards prop is 52.5. All right. His touchdown prop minus 185 to score 1, but we don't ever like that kind of price, but to score 2 or more plus 270, sign me up. 3 or more, I don't know that I'm committing to this, but 11-1 odds on 3 or more tutties. I mean, I could maybe see them giving him calling his name down deep in the red zone more than twice, perhaps. That's the 3 or more at 11-1 is a bit interesting to me. As for his passing props, 243.5 is his passing yards number. Cutter Boley is 201.5. And as for Diego's touchdown, let's see here. Touchdown passes, 2 or more minus 114, 3 or more plus 320, 4 or more plus 920. Interesting. Okay, you go ahead. I've got a bunch of plays on this.
All right. Well, one, I concur with you in just about any Diego prop you want to drop. I will be on the over in this game, over 52.5. I'd love to have it at 51.5. Would even consider buying it down potentially because of the swing number. But I think this is a Vandy defense that's been exploitable of late, and a Kentucky offense that is finding some success because I'm on Cutter Boley over 201 passing yards as well.
I think I said did I say 201 or 210?
Okay, you said 201, but even at 210, because look,
it is 2. You're right. It is 201. My mistake.
He made his first start at South Carolina, and I can remember both of us made money on that because it was just a very difficult spot going on the road at night in Williams-Brice. And so take that one out of the equation. He went for 225 again at Georgia. He went for 258 against a Texas defense that's more talented to a Vandy defense. In a high-scoring game against Tennessee, he went for 330. The only 2 times since his debut as a starter that he's gone under 201, one was the Auburn game when Kentucky didn't need to throw the ball ever because it was clear Auburn was not going to get across midfield. And then he only threw for 168 in a blowout of a Florida team that went to Lexington and quit. Vandy's not going to quit.
Let's point out that I don't remember. You probably remember the box score for Daniels passing yards at Vandy.
Yeah, he went for he ran for more than 100 and threw for more than, I think, 350.
I think so too. I mean, Coleman had 143 if memory serves. And then Vandy gave up a ton of passing yards against Texas. It was more yak than anything, but it counts towards the stats. So Vandy's secondary has struggled here recently.
So I'm on the over. I would just about any. I agree with your theorizing about Diego Pavia being given the keys even more so than normal on his last day on the West End. Allegedly, but I'm on the over, and I think Cutter Boley to stay in the game. I think he's going to get well north of 201, and some of those alternate prop yardage, I could see it playing it all the way up to 250 at sizable plus numbers.
Yeah, you really talked me into the Cutter Boley thing. I agree. I'm going Vandy minus 6.5 at small juice. I think I said minus 105 or minus 108, but less juice in the first half. Let's do that. Let's go Diego over 52.5 rushing yards. Let's go him to score 2 touchdowns or more at plus 270. And I'm not against the 3 touchdowns, which was 11 to 1. And I think was the plus 920 for 4 passing touchdowns. I wouldn't be against that either, but I mean, like your minimum baby play. But we always talk about Diego as we're contractually obligated to do, figuratively, not literally. But we should, I mean, you did just talk about Kentucky. I mean, they're playing good ball. They've won 3 in a row. They've won both straight up and ATS, and they've covered 4 of 5 and should have won that Texas game. And then, you look back, I feel like there was another game they should have won. Maybe not. Well, the Texas game, they definitely should have won. So Kentucky's playing good ball, and they are looking to get bowl eligible, and they're at Louisville next week, which I don't know which one's more difficult at Vandy and at Louisville, but neither one of them's easy, and they'll be underdogs both. But Kentucky playing good ball and has finished strong. And I would assume Mark Stoops is going to be back now.
Well, I've done multiple live shows on this network here at Southeastern 16, and the interactions from the Kentucky fans in the chats is they were hoping that he would already be either gone, announced a swan song, because their argument, and it's difficult to refute, is they know what the ceiling in the modern era of the ultra competitiveness of this league, the ceiling is Kentucky with Stoops is going to be fighting for the Music City Bowl.
He's won 10 twice. Who they going to get's going to win 10 for him?
Grass is always greener, brother.
Right. Yeah. All right. Okay. Next, we go to Arkansas at Texas, and this game is at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC, and we have Texas listed as an 8.5 point favorite. Isn't that down a little bit? I feel like it was 9.5 yesterday. 8.5 at FanDuel. Arkansas plus 275 money line. 57.5 on the total. We have Texas in the first quarter as a 1.5 point favorite. Don't do that. Arkansas gets off to a lot of good starts. First half, Texas minus 4.5. Let's go rushing props because I'm on my boys. Taylor Green over 52.5. Give me that. He's gone over that 7 of 10 games. Washington over 65.5. Let's do that. He's gone over that 7 of 10 games, but 2 of the misses, he had 65 and 61. So was very close. I would have to go do some homework on if Wisner's getting most of the touches, but I normally endorse the featured back against Arkansas's run defense. So Wisner over 61.5 is certainly in play, and I'm not against Arch Manning over 14.5 rushing yards either. The touchdown props, Wisner minus 195, Washington minus 125, Wingo minus 110, Arch plus 110, Green plus 120. Sign me up for Green plus 120. He scored a touchdown in 7 of 10 games. Your thoughts?
The only way I would look at player prop, the only thing I would look at is player props, because this one, everybody's going to hear the whispers about Sarkisian. Everybody, I really like your Arch Manning, because it feels like he's in a place where it's 1.5 read and then tuck and go, and that only benefits the offense as well as his opportunity to go over that. Michael Van Buren ran for 36 in a tooth and nail game for LSU against Arkansas last week. So, but with the Sarkisian whispers, with everybody in and around the Arkansas program knowing they're going to completely clear the deck, you've got no idea what words from the coaches are going to be heard, and you've got no idea how many guys in these locker rooms are about to make business decisions.
All of that is true. I'm just going with those player props I mentioned. Washington and Green over, Green's touchdown prop. And, yeah, I like Arch, and I think I like Wisner as well. But I kind of want to make sure he's been getting the majority of the touches. But anyway, yeah, those are mine. All right, next we go to Coastal Carolina at South Carolina, 4:15 p.m. Eastern on the SEC network. And we have South Carolina minus 23.5, Coastal 14-1 on the money line. The total is 50.5. The Gamecocks in the first quarter minus 6.5, but a minus 145 price. The first half, we have South Carolina minus 13.5. minus 124 price. No player props. All of it's a pass for me.
Me too.
All right, we move on and we go to Tennessee at Florida, and that is going to be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. And we have Tennessee as a 3.5-point favorite at a minus 118 price. We have the Vols minus 184 on the money line. We have the Gators plus 155 to win outright. The total is 57.5. In the first quarter, the Vols are minus 1.5 plus 112. First half, Vols minus 2.5 minus 118. The Vols have not won at the Swamp since 2003. They won there in 01 and 03 with Casey Clausen as quarterback. The last time the Vols won at the Swamp without Casey Clausen under center. Trivia question for you.
Heath Schuler.
Oh, no. Or the year. You can do the quarterback if you want, but Schuler's not correct.
Okay, I don't know.
1971.
No, that's probably Conrad Holloway. But and the 2003 was the game ultimately decided on the –
No, that was 01. 03 was against Zook. 01 was when Travis Stevens ran all over Gus Scott and 34-32. Remember?
03, wasn't that when James Banks caught the Hail Mary right before the half?
You doggone right it was. I was about to say that, give you that detail too. I didn't remember the name of the player, but it was a Hail Mary right before halftime on Zook. Yep. And then, by the way, that 01 game, second biggest heartbreaker for me at the Swamp of my lifetime.
Was 94 the biggest?
Well, that was really the biggest in the big scheme of things. But the Swamp swindle against FSU, it just the Florida FSU thing, that made that one. That was the more frustrating one. That cost us potentially a natty, the 01 one. And that's the best Gator. That's one of the top 3 or 4 Gator teams ever, and they didn't win anything but the Orange Bowl in 01. Shout out to my man, Sexy Rexy. Not sexy to me, sexy to the ladies. All right. Your thoughts on the game? We almost just went I mean, I have thoughts on this. What would you like? Oh, please.
There's too many ghosts there.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't you? You got to pick Tennessee. You know better. You know better.
I'm not picking Florida because I think Tennessee's a better football team, and I'm certain they're currently better coached. But there are too many ghosts there, especially to give up more than a field goal, because Josh Heupel and everybody in orange, whether it's 3-0 or 43-40, they would be completely content to walk out of there with any number that has a W next
taste
to it.
Victory. They are not allowed to taste victory in this venue. Let me remind everybody that Florida was in the red zone in the first half against Tennessee last year 5 times and scored 3 points as Billy Bob was painting his Mona Lisa in offensive incompetence. Florida wins outright. And let me tell you, we didn't have our 3 best receivers last week. Now 2 of them are done for the season, but we're most likely getting Vernell Brown back this week. And we're getting Caleb Banks back, who was preseason All-American in every publication. Most of the Kuipers of the world had him with a first-round grade going into the season. He's only played once against LSU. He left that game with a foot injury. He had some sort of foot type of surgery, but he is back. He actually dressed out last week, and he popped on the injury report as doubtful, which was encouraging. He's playing this week. That's a huge get for Florida's defense. Vernell Brown will be a huge boost to the offense. And look, I mean, other than the Kentucky game, the Gators have played pretty decent ball. I mean, not great, but I mean, enough to be in the lead in the fourth quarter at Ole Miss and against Georgia in the last 3 weeks. Those teams are probably going to the playoff or are going to the playoff. So, Florida's playing pretty good ball. I like the Gators to win outright. I'll take them plus the points and plus 155 on the money line. All right, next we have Western Kentucky at LSU, 7:45 p.m. Eastern on the SEC network. And let's see, we have 7:45. Here we go. LSU 21.5. Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers, plus 980 on the money line. Total 48.5. First quarter, LSU minus 4.5. First half, LSU minus 11.5. Nussmeier is doubtful. All of it's a pass for me.
For me, too, I would potentially look at, and I don't know if they have this early, Van Buren's rush number.
No props. No player props up yet.
Just because inexperienced quarterback at home can make plays with his legs. This feels like a mismatch in talent. But again, LSU with dreams dashed, how motivated are you even at night in Red Stick against a Western Kentucky team? But I can't endorse taking 21.5 because if they do show up motivated, this could be 56-10.
All right, let me pay some bills, and then we, if you've got a minute, a little coaching search talk. All right, let's talk about the Yearly Company, a Nashville-based fine jewelry brand built on tradition and designed for meaning. Each piece is handcrafted from solid 14K gold and natural gemstones, made to measure for a perfect fit and backed by a lifetime guarantee, because every Yearly Company bangle is custom sized. Knowing your size is the most important first step before ordering. That's where our sizing kit comes in. Code SE16KIT will take 100% off the sizing kit at checkout. Also, our good friends at ROKFORM, the world's strongest magnetic phone case. Extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting, SEC25 for 25% off. And also HOVI Dry Goods, your new favorite hat. Look no further than HOVI hats for high quality headgear with a great fit and unique designs. Bad beat for 15% off. All right, you got to go? Can you hear me?
Check the chat.
Oh, I got you.
No, Brian, I don't have to go. Let's talk coaches carousel, because this is really about to get interesting.
Yeah. All right. So the first domino to fall was James Franklin. He goes to Vatech. Many people were surprised, but he has stated he's got one goal, win a natty, and you don't go necessarily jump into the SEC, certainly not at Arkansas, if you want to have a good path to that. And with FSU and Clemson down and Miami poorly coached, ACC is a good spot, and it's kind of in the footprint of where he's recruited the last decade, and I think it's a pretty good decision.
I do too, especially for Franklin. If he's going to buck the anti-big game James conversation, that path is much easier because, look, if you get it rocking and rolling, that main stadium is going to show up and be a place kids will want to come play because that place is fun when they're good.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it, and one of the better atmospheres in college football. All right, I think the next domino is I think everybody's waiting on the Lane train, whether it's stay at Ole Miss, Florida, LSU, or whatever else comes about. And look, I mean, Texas and USC might be open. And then I don't think John Sumrall makes a decision because he wants to see what Lane does, because he might have LSU as an option rather than just Auburn versus Ole Miss or what have you, because it's out there that Ole Miss has let Sumrall's representatives know that he is their number one choice if Kiffin leaves.
And all that's fine, well, and good, but if you stand around, wait, you may mess around, John Sumrall, and be the guy who's now back at Tulane and trying to convince everybody this is where you wanted to be, which is crap, because your resume's on half the athletic directors across the Southeast. So, I mean, look, you're right that if I had to put a meaningful dollar on the things that happen next, while the Kiffin thing, I think there are a lot of people waiting for the Kiffin thing. I could see Auburn, who's not in the Kiffin chase this time. I could see Auburn convincing themselves that let's make an offer to the guy not named Kiffin that everybody's then going to, if you can secure that guy now, can start the process of making certain DJ Durkin is going to be part of the plan moving forward, whether that's Dillingham, whether that's Summerall, whether that's whomever, then you're ahead of the game, and whoever you have is there to go through a uber important recruiting calendar that not only includes high school, not only includes the early portal window, which opens January 2nd, it's convincing the kids on your roster not to portal. And that is arguably the most important thing the next Auburn head coach is going to have to do, because there is a ton of young talent. Hugh Freeze couldn't coach himself out of a wet paper sack, but he has recruited 2 very good classes of young players to Jordan-Hare.
What do you think is the pecking order at Auburn right now? What do you think is like their 1, 2, 3? Dillingham 1?
I from everything I've now read, I think it's Summerall 1, Dillingham 2, Durkin 3.
Well, the thing with Dillingham is, I don't know if this is for sure, but if Dillingham, it might come with Sam Leavitt, which is a pretty good doggone quarterback for next year. So, I mean, that if I'm Auburn, I think, and look, I know Dillingham's an ASU guy, but did you see the video clip of him trying to talk to the restaurants and the, how about why are the restaurants and the businesses not helping us with NIL? I mean, it looks like a man who's ready to make a move, perhaps. I mean,
well, and he also knows, look, every league is super competitive in terms of NIL, and it's by comparisons and degrees. I'm not saying the guys in the Big 12 are offering what the Texas A&M's and the upper echelon of the SEC is offering in NIL. But if you're Arizona State and you look up and BYU's got Mormon money and Texas Tech is tapping in, Texas Tech's become the model NIL overhaul and win now program across almost every sport that they offer. You look up and I mean, I don't know how much Utah's kicking in, but if you're Arizona State and you don't feel comfortable about a Big 12 that's only going to get 2 at most in any year to the playoff, and you don't feel competitive in NIL, getting people to be a Sun Devil, I have not heard the Levitt conversation, but damn, that's a package deal that has proven fruitful in a lot of directions.
But then there's also Dillingham, what we were talking about with James Franklin. Do you really want to go jump into this SEC grind when clearly in year 2 at ASU, you had a path to the playoff and you got it, and you were this close to beating Texas and being in the semifinals? So there's also that for him to consider. Last question for you on Auburn. Does Auburn, are they not wanting to do anything because they kind of want Durkin, and if he beats Alabama, they know the fan base will be on board for it? Or are they trying to wait till after the Iron Bowl because Durkin is a legit consideration?
I think he is a legit consideration, especially if talk in the halls is he can help keep a whole bunch of that roster together.
All right, just a little tidbit on what happened when Knox and Layla were in Gainesville on Sunday. So Creed and Trent Whitmore's dad, Creed's a wide receiver at Utah. The dad is the Gainesville Buchholz high school coach. Trent played for Florida and then Mississippi State. Their dad is the coach of Gainesville Buchholz, who Layla graduated from Buchholz with when John Reeves, her dad, was on Spurrier's staff in the early 90s. So Knox is considering Buchholz and Trinity Christian in Ocala, which is about a 40-minute drive south of Gainesville. So Layla is friends with the coach there. So that's just a little tidbit in terms of what, and I don't think Knox went to LSU because he's got to practice Monday for the state championship, or not state playoff game he's got on Friday. Your prediction, Kiffin, Ole Miss, LSU, or Florida?
I think
or
LSU.
A percentage breakdown.
LSU 1-20 at tops.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not talking even about what the family tours were. I'm not even talking about that. I think LSU has really backed itself into a corner, not on any of their own fault, but Jeff Gitry, the Louisiana governor, coming out and foaming at the mouth, is going to turn a whole lot of big time coaching prospects and their high dollar agents into thank you, we'll call you. And so LSU, even at 20-1, may be high, which would be 5%. I still give 1-3 at best going to Gainesville, and then the rest staying at Ole Miss. And look, either way,
you think Ole Miss is the favorite still?
I do.
Huh.
Unless he needs to come out sooner rather than later. The longer, and I know you want Kiffin to coach the Gators, but the longer this goes on, it's the better it is for Florida, because this comes real easy if he just walks in there and says, all right, here's what it's going to take to stay, and I'll be here a decade. Or I'll be here, because after this round of footsie that Kiffin's playing with these jobs,
he can never do this again. Like, I was just up there, man. All the Ole Miss media people think he's gone, and it might be untenable as is moving forward after all this nonsense. And look, if the Gators weren't involved, I'd be roasting him like I was in 2022, because that team fell apart because of his flirtations with Auburn. And like this time, he was tweeting about it, and it was all laughs and whatnot. And, they're losing games, because they went into that mid-November stretch. They had a chance, and then they lose 3 in a row because he's flirting with other jobs. And so, I mean, I think a lot of the Ole Miss fan base is just done with it right now, even if he ends up staying.
Well, it also comes on the heels of that Ryan McGee ESPN 60 thing where he talked about all the family and everything they're building at Ole Miss, and this is where he's going to be, and how he wishes he could go back and not have the whole Tennessee exit thing where he talked about how it was a dream job, and now he's going to use the exact same phraseology about Florida being a dream job. And look, if the dream is for Kiffin to be as much like Spurrier as possible, he's got a hell of a lot better chance to be like Spurrier in Oxford than he does in Gainesville, because there's only going to be one Spurrier in the eyes of Florida fans.
Oh, yeah. If Mississippi State finds a way to win, and we don't know how things are going to shake out otherwise, does Ole Miss well, I guess we would have to have an answer by then before the playoff committee knows. But I mean, let's say Kiffin says he's going to LSU or Florida, and then they lose, or is Ole Miss going to get snubbed because they're?
Let me put this to you. Let's say they win 7-6 in just an ugly game. I mean, I'm talking about Ole Miss winning with 11-1. And he announces he's leaving. We have precedent of basketball committee holding down seeds when they know a meaningful player is injured. Go back to Kenyon Martin at Cincinnati.
Yeah, they were locked in for the number 1 overall seed, and then they didn't even get a 1 seed.
And this is so many fewer bids because the thing that separates this Ole Miss team is Kiffin's offense and his play calling. So you're losing your strongest skill.
Yeah. We live in interesting times. All right, I know you got to skedaddle. I really don't have much NFL, actually. So I'll just give one pick. I like NC State. FSU has not won at Carter Finley since 2016. And FSU's 0-3 both straight up and against the spread on the road this year. It's a short week. I got NC State Friday night, and I'll say they went outright, but more on them plus 5-ish. You got anything on non-SEC picks?
No, and I wouldn't expect, considering the last couple 3 weeks, I would expect anybody to listen to me anyway. Right.
All righty. For Jay Greeson, I'm Brian Edwards. Good luck with your bets this weekend, and we are over and out.